Are you exhausted of the whole social media grind when all you want to do is making music? You're not alone, and there's a reason that it feels so overwhelming. I've analyzed the content of over 1,000 producers and music businesses and worked with top tier artists throughout my agency, and I have seen them making the same mistakes over and over again. Fixing these simple mistakes helped some of my clients to double their following within only a few weeks. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what mistakes most producers make of their content, what kind of problems this creates, how to avoid those mistakes, and the exact types of contents that you should create for your music business. So let's get right into it by showing you the biggest mistake a producer makes when it comes to their content. It's undeniable that having a strong personal brand and a following of loyal fans is the key to a successful career in music, and content is the bridge that gets you there. But that's where most producers start to overcomplicate things. Making music already takes a lot of your creative energy. If you now also add writing scripts, editing, thinking about topics and titles, it can easily become too much, especially when making content isn't what you love doing. It also takes a lot of time to always stay on top of content trends and to come up with new ideas. This is all time you can't spend on making music or working on products or client projects. So let's look at the 3 tips that help you to create more and better content in less time. And on top of that, the whole process will also be much more fun for you. So let's look at tip number 1 that looks like this. The secret is not to come up with more ideas, it's actually having less. What I mean by this is, instead of coming up with new content ideas every week and trying to reinvent the wheel, you pick 3 to 5 content series that you can stick to. Each one is like a show on Netflix. Now, instead of constantly asking, what should I post this week? You should just do the next episode in that series. It's way easier, more consistent, and actually sustainable. So secret number 1 is to create content series. The next secret will show you how you can execute on your ideas much easier. Because the annoying part of shooting the content is often to get the gear ready, set up your recording software, and to get ready for the camera. This creates a lot of friction, and I found myself often not to create at all because I couldn't find the activation energy, so I ended up not creating. What changed everything for me was when I started to pick 1 day a month and shot everything I needed for the whole month in one sitting. Like this, you have to only set up everything once, and you don't have to find the time to squeeze creating content into your schedule. So tip number 2 is bulk creating. So what if I told you that you don't even have to come up with any ideas at all? Because when you look at some of the biggest artists and music creators out there, they aren't successful because they create the most creative content. Not at all. In fact, they're quite lazy with that. Instead of creating new ideas, they just document what they are doing anyway and let you be a part of that. So think of content more as shooting a documentary than writing a script for a TV show. So tip number 3 is don't create, document. So let's have a look what 5 content documentary types work the best and how you can use them as well to grow your brand. And we start with the first one that looks like this. You take a track that you created or mixed, and then you put a camera and screen recording on and walk your audience through your project. This creates a really big value to your audience, and it gives you a great opportunity to show your creative process and to make your audience care even more about your tracks. A great example here is James Hype. He's showing you how he created some of his biggest tracks on YouTube. So content number 1 is track breakdowns. The only thing you need for content type number 2 is to open your phone camera and tell your audience what you're doing. When you're on your way to the studio, meeting other artists, or to show behind the scenes when you're on tour. A great example here is Josh Baker, who takes his fans with him on his exciting touring life. So content number 2 is vlogs. The next method is as simple as having a chat with a friend, because that's exactly what it is. You have a conversation with other musicians, producers, or other people from the industry, and you record it. Your audience gets to be in the same room and listen to a conversation of their role models. And this is also a great tool for you to network in the industry because you give others a platform and to show their expertise and personality. A great example here is Ben Rao, who interviews not only other artists, but also label bosses like the CEO of Defected Records. What a great opportunity to listen to a conversation like this for an up-and-coming house artist, for instance. So method number 3 is podcasts. Off to the next method, which is not only a massive click magnet, it's also a great exercise for you to become a better producer. You do this by putting a bit of pressure on you and your work. Let me show you what I mean with an example. This is Ethan Davis, a producer and YouTuber. He made the series where he spent his lunchtime at a random fast food restaurant to produce also a randomly chosen genre. Genre and restaurant were both chosen by a random wheel, so he didn't know what he has to create and where before. Content like this creates immediate curiosity with your viewers because they want to see if the challenge was successful and what the end product is. So content type number 4 is challenges. You set yourself a production challenge, or you let your audience decide and you just film yourself trying to master the challenge. So content type number 5 is similar to the breakdown, but instead of walking your viewers through a whole track, you educate them on a certain topic. For example, when you have a look at the Mercurial Tones Academy channel, there are videos like 7 R patterns that every producer must know, or 3 pro drop ideas every producer should know, or 3 pro groove patterns every producer should know. Also here, you don't have to come up with a creative idea, just share valuable lessons you learned or demonstrate in a good understandable way what techniques you use in your productions. So as you probably guessed, content type number 5 is tutorials. So now you know what types of content to create to grow your brand and to make the creation feel a lot more effortless. But creating content and building a brand alone won't bring you any income at all. You also need to know how to turn this attention into real income. So if you want to know how to turn your skills and content into a scalable income, watch this video here, where I show you 4 proven ways to build a consistent income for your music business.